Let's talk about setup. Setting up your tax software at the beginning of the tax season is probably one of the most important things you can do. Making sure that it's set up correctly, that everything's in there the way that you want it, for expediting the processing of tax returns, minimizing the use of paper, making sure that you're accurately maintaining your records and keeping with your processes. So let's talk about configuration. First of all, it's very easy to find. So we're going to go to configuration and click on that. What's in that menu? We're going to set up our firm information, our ERO information, our preparer information. This is going to be where you're going to access your login accounts, your preparer security, your preparer signatures. That's all going to be under Firm ERO Preparer. We'll touch on that in a second. We've got our fees and billing set up. We've got our electronic filing and bank set up. We've got our printers and copies set up. So printing is either one of those things that your software is very good at or not very good at. You need to have a lot of options and a lot of flexibilities. That's one of That's one of the things we do very well. So if you go into printer and copy setup, you've got your printer setting up, basically just mapping your basic printer. I'm on a laptop here, so I don't have any printers mapped to this at this time or that are available on the network. So I'm going to exit there. Then you've got your individual print options. You can actually create custom print sets and name them. So you can pull your prior year copies, what you had. What do you want to print? Do you want a collated print option? Do you want it to be watermarked? What do you want to do? So, and what do each of these mean for you? So if you want to do an option K, what does option K mean? Do you want a cover page, 1 or 2 pages, privacy letter? And you would just go in there and say for the 1040, just type in the number 1, 1040A. We only want one of those. Obviously only one 1040 type applies per return. But you can go in and you can add in what you want, what you don't want. And in very short order, you can either go through all forms, federal forms or state forms. So in this case, we're only doing Fed forms. But I would go in and say, yeah, if I got a W-7 on there, I want to print the application. If I've got a 1099 miscellaneous, why not print it? It looks professional. And go ahead and click Done. Now, option K has been assigned values. So it's automatically, when you go into your print set or your print options in the tax return, it'll be there for you. So setting up your printing, what I want to make known in reviewing this is that there are a lot of things you can do, a lot of customization options. So make sure to, at the beginning of the season, call into support and we can assist you in configuring those the way that you want them. So these other ones, system and network configuration, path menu, you really don't have to worry about those. We will have assisted you in those. Configure premium options, those will be done when we set up your software up at the beginning of season as well, and we assist you with that. Configuration, utilities, you know what? Don't really have to worry about that guy either. We'll take care of that when we set up your software. The only thing that you really need to do is take care of these top 3. Firm ERO Preparer, firm information, very, very straightforward. Don't really need to think about that too much. It should be a part of the initial configuration. When you set the software up, it asks you for that. I would advise you to enter it at that time. We've got our ERO menu. So this is our EFIN. This is the default that attaches to every tax return done in the system. So here's our EFIN 002222. Very straightforward as well. Now when we get to preparers, this is one of those things that you're probably going to want to call in and talk to us about, making sure that you've got everything configured correctly. In our preparer menu, we've got a bunch of jokers in here, and I think I'm operating currently under John Smith. And under John Smith, we've got some information. We've got his PTIN number, his social, preparer code, and so forth. And when we get down to preparer security, we're going to add in what we want him to do, what we don't want him to do. We add in his username and password at this point, whether or not he has access to everyone's tax return. Can he mark it complete? Can he access, this is where you would say either unlimited access or limited to prepare only, so he can only see his own returns. It's a great option if you, depending on how your office is structured. Obviously more secure that way, but they can't service every customer for obvious reasons. So once we've got our information set up there correctly, we're going to add in the taxpayer's signature so that all the returns that they do, their signature's on file. Some not on file. Well, it is now. So now John's signature is in there, and it will populate on all the tax returns as appropriate. So configuration, very, very important. One of the things you're going to want to make sure you call in and talk to us about. Also, once you have set up your configuration, your username and password, you're going to want to turn Prepare Security on. So are you going to force them to use their login and password each time? It's highly advised, and it'll further secure your tax office and tax preparer information, or taxpayer information, I should say. So that's what we wanted to talk about real quick on configuration, fees and billing information. Obviously, very straightforward at the beginning of the season. If you didn't use the software last year, you're going to need to put that information in. If you did use the software last year, it'll recognize it on your network, and you'll simply say pull prior year fees. Okay? And it will override what's currently in your database or what you put in here with the prior year information. So it's an easy way to get a good baseline. You also have the ability to increase or decrease your fees by a percentage rate. So let's say you want to keep up with inflation, 3 to 5%. You could say I want to increase my fees by 3%, and it will automatically rip through your list and increase them by 3%. Would you like to round the fees to the nearest dollar? Sure, I would. So it goes ahead and rounds everything up by 3%. Very, very cool function. So that's what we wanted to talk about in configuration. It's going to go ahead and save that for me. And one of the things we would like to encourage you to call in when we set up your software and verify that your information is configured correctly. So thank you very much. Keep watching, and hope